How could we possibly follow up a 2027 Minnesota Twins World Series victory? And not only that, but they swept the Chicago Cubs. It took them just 4 games to dispose of a storied franchise like the Chicago Cubs, one that knocked off the LA Dodgers, and it's hard to follow that up. But we're going to do our best, and we're going to get right into the off season for your Twins and see what kind of money we have available to keep the most guys we can at the right price, and even decide if we do want to keep those guys depending on age, depending on if we have guys that are young and maybe in AAA or already maybe on the roster ready to take over that position. So we have a lot to cover today, and hopefully not too long of a time. I did want to go over with you before the season flipped. So before we get into the 2028 season, that out of the top 100 prospects, Cy McClellan, our former first round pick, is considered or was considered the number 2 prospect in all of baseball. Second only to Clyde Cronin, a first baseman for the Marlins. We also have or had at 7 Elvis Rocha, a left fielder, 20 years old, playing in AAA. And for those of you who may have forgotten, which it's very easy to forget because it was many episodes ago, but when we had an issue at shortstop, we had many shortstops and really no place for all of them to play. And so we decided to make a move to trade the player that we received in return for Carlos Correa. And that man's name was Marcelo Mayer, a former top 10 prospect of the Boston Red Sox. And we traded him, and who we got in return was Elvis Rocha. And now he's the 7th ranked prospect in all of baseball. So it'll be interesting to see where he stands in the top 100 prospects list in 2028. As you guys can see on your screen, there's, I believe, 7 of our top players with the highest salaries. Now, we just re-signed Joe Ryan to a 5-year extension at close to $30 million, and we re-signed Bailey Ober to a 3-year deal at a little over $28 million per year. Now, Royce Lewis is still on his $22 million contract that we signed him to a few years ago. In my opinion, that contract is not aging so well. Royce Lewis has performed well for us overall. He provides 25 home runs a year. He provides some RBIs, but he routinely hits around 250 or below. And for where he hits in our order, I feel like he should have a lot more RBIs than he does. And he just doesn't. And I believe his clutch is pretty good too. So I don't quite understand why he seems to be underachieving, and he's only 28. We do have someone in the minors that is ready to take over, but I always, my first choice is never, if possible, to trade a longtime Minnesota Twin. And so I'm hesitant to even think about trading Royce Lewis. And I don't think we have to right now. But if we're going to be tight on our budget, it does seem like we have a lot of money to spend with the $60 million available, as you can see. But I'll break it down for you a little bit more, and you'll be able to see that it's not quite as much as it appears to be. One of the things that we did do off camera is I did tender a qualifying offer to Bo Bichette, even though we don't plan on keeping Bo Bichette, mainly because we can't afford him. But we did tender a qualifying offer of 1 year for $24.2 million. I would be absolutely shocked if some team did not sign him to a 4 or 5 year deal, worth at least $25 million per season. With us tendering that qualifying offer, we will receive draft pick compensation, as long as he does sign with another club. Now, if the worst case scenario happens and he accepts our 1 year, $24 million offer, which would just be crazy for him to do with the offers he's going to get on the free agent market, then obviously we would have to find a team to try to trade him to, as I don't believe we can squeeze him in under our remaining budget. We did offer a contract to Pablo Lopez. We did it before he became a free agent, so there is still time for him to accept the offer that we made to him. But as of now, he has not accepted that offer. And he may have declined the offer if I go to the free agent screen and see him sitting there. That may have been his answer. So we will quickly find that out. Luis Ariz, I've I always call him the Hit King. I'm not saying I came up with that, but it just fits him. And his previous salary was close to $10 million a season, and he was going to want a long contract worth close to $20 million. So, and he's only an 81 overall, I believe. So the only issue with losing Luis Ariz is that we don't have any first baseman in the pipeline to come up and try to fill his shoes. So we're going to have to figure something out. And that will be one of our challenges during this off season. But if it weren't for challenges, it wouldn't be fun, right? And then I was shocked by this. We had an update happen just before I went on air that said Byron Buxton has exercised his option and will be making $14.29 million in 2028. So if I'm reading that right, he had signed a contract that in the fourth year of that contract, he had the right to turn that final year down and enter the free agent market. Now I know Byron Buxton is now 34, but he is a 99 overall, and he's playing pretty much the best baseball of his career in the last few years. So to settle for 1 year at $14.2 million meant a lot to me, because I know there's not feelings in this game or loyalties necessarily, but let's say there was. He just, as a lifelong Twin, he just told the Twins, I will honor my fourth year and play for $14.2 million, even though I know I can get probably double on the free agent market. So big news for Twins fans that we have Buxton for at least one more year. One of the things that I felt was very important to do with our money, depending on what each player was looking for, was to go ahead and attempt to lock up our young players that we had. And I don't believe it's going to show up on this screen yet. So that may not even count against that $60 million. But my hope is that it is in the far right, under or above arbitrations and renewable estimates. But what we did is we offered long contracts to our young up and coming studs. So Cy McClellan, we offered him a 9-year, $130 million contract. So that comes out to a little over $14 million per year. He will be locked up until the age of 33. He's 24 now, and he's already an 88 overall. And with losing Bichette at shortstop, McClelland is going to step right in and start from day one. What we also did is we have a 25-year-old third baseman that also plays second base. We're going to have to find a position for him if we don't move Royce Lewis. But his name is Kalen Culpepper. He's an 85 overall. He is 25 years old. But we signed him to a 7-year, $75 million contract. So that only came out to about $10.7 million per year. So to me, that was a great deal to lock him in for that amount. We also did a somewhat similar deal with Brooks Lee. Now, Brooks Lee is a longtime Minnesota Twin, and again, my first hope is to try to keep lifelong Twins as long as I can. I still believe in Brooks Lee. I still believe he can be a player in this league. He is 27 already, but he is an 83 overall. He plays shortstop and many other positions. He's a switch hitter, and we got him on a 5-year contract for $22 million. So we'll only be paying him $4.4 million per year. I thought that was a steal. So Brooks Lee will be sticking around. Neil Vann, a former pick of ours. I can't remember which draft specifically he came from, but he is now 22. He tore up Double-A 2 years ago. He shredded Triple-A hitting last year as a relief pitcher. And then with no call-up in September, the Minnesota Twins, we called him up and put him on our World Series or our playoff roster. And he performed very well throughout the playoffs. He is 22 years old. He's an 83 overall. And we offered him an 11-year contract at $64 million total. So that would only equal out to $5.8 million per year. So he's an 83 right now. The kid is going to get better. So that is a steal of a deal right there. So those were some of the moves that I did attempt to make. I have not necessarily received confirmation that those offers were accepted. But as you can see on your screen there, we did have to offer salary arbitration to a number of players, including David Festa, Simeon Woods Richardson, Matt Wallner, and I was under the impression that Jake McCarthy would be an unrestricted free agent. I don't know if they use that term in Major League Baseball, but I thought he would be a free agent. Well, we actually were able to offer him arbitration. So it does look like he's coming back next year. The same was Zach Jackson, a great relief pitcher for us. We offered him salary arbitration and are just waiting to hear back on what the judge decides. We did select our 40-man roster, so we've done that already. Here are the arbitration offers that we offered our top 5 guys. It may seem high to you guys. It may seem low, our offers. But I just felt like it was the right amount. Jake McCarthy on the free agent market could make $20 million a year, I'm sure. But his previous salary was only 4.6, so I thought kind of getting close to doubling that up would be a good offer, and hopefully the judge agrees. And Matt Wallner's offer was so high because his previous salary was about $11 million. So I felt like we had to go a little bit higher than that. So we went with $15 million. And then, of course, Woods Richardson and Festa were just, I don't want to say they came out of nowhere, but they were just phenomenal for us this year. And so in some ways, the 7.5 and 6.6, they would be way underpaid for 1 year. But just think about it this way. This last year where we won the World Series, their salary was $800,000. $800,000. So to be offered 7.5 to Festa and 6.6 to Woods Richardson in arbitration, I think that's pretty fair. But we will find out. Here are the contracts that I offered, as I shared with you guys. McClellan, Culpepper, Van, and Brooks Lee. We will find out hopefully soon what they decide. And here's free agency. So it does look like the top free agent available is Pablo Lopez. So that tells me that he declined our offer for him to stay with us, and we offered him a fairly generous offer, and the longtime twin apparently declined it. So we just don't have the money to go out and try to get him back, unfortunately. So it's a sad day, but that's part of baseball, is the business side. And Pablo Lopez pitched his way into probably a huge contract with either the Dodgers or the Yankees or somebody like that. So we wish him well, just hopefully not against us. So what I did is I went ahead and went in and looked for a possible fifth starter. And for those of you that have done franchises before, uh, you're probably familiar with John Means by now. His overall is never very high, but what is high is his walks per nine or walks per 9 innings and his hits per 9 innings. So the guy's not going to blow you away with his fastball, but what he is going to do is he's going to limit hits and limit walks. Therefore, he always seems to have a good ERA and a good whip. And if he's our fifth starter, then that's great. We'll take it. I was a little surprised that he wants $15 million per year, even though he's a 77 overall. But Pablo Lopez, I did look into reacquiring Pablo Lopez, and he wants starting. This is just starting. He wants $35 million and many years on his contract. So whenever I compared the 35 to the 15, I thought, wow, well, 15 is phenomenal. That's a savings of 20 million. So let's hope that John Means likes us. We'll find out in the next few days. And then, I haven't made an offer or anything uh, to Luis Ariz, but it looks like he does want 14 million per year. And at this point, I looked at all the first basemen. Either you had first basemen that wanted 30 million per year, or you had first basemen that maybe wanted 10 million a year, 9 million, but they were not even close to the player that Ariz is. Now, I don't think in any world would we offer him a 5-year contract. But we're going to do our best to try to get Ariz back. Frankly, because we don't have any other options at this point. As crazy as this may sound, we not only don't have anyone in the minors that is ready to come up and play first base, but we have nobody on our team that their secondary position is first base. At least everybody that I checked. And so Ariz may be very well worth the, 15 to 18 million a year, whatever we have to do. But hopefully just two years or something like that. So let's see if we can even offer at this point. So we can offer. So man, I really don't want to go 3 years. Oh, okay. So the lowest we can go is 3 years on him. So that is a little scary. Okay, so his motivation does go up again if we offer him this amount of money. And it stops me here, so I don't know if that's the owner stopping me or who, but that's as high as we can go. So, oh, so let's stamp it and send the contract to Luis Ariz. We should get a boost because we're the first one to offer him a contract, but I don't know if I missed that. And obviously, we have to find out from Means' agent what his motivation is to sign with us. So we'll have to move forward a few days. So Patrick Frazier has accepted the Twins' offer as hitting coach for 3 years. So we had a coach retire and another coach take another job, I believe. So we've been uh, before I went on camera, I was trying to fill those positions. Contract decision already coming in. Okay, maybe next time. This offer isn't quite right to get this negotiation past the finish line. Let's keep working to finalize a deal. Okay. Well. Oh, okay. Thank you for not popping up. That's another thing, MLB The Show. That would be amazing if you popped up a little thing that said Cy McClellan, the number 2 prospect in all of baseball, has signed with the Minnesota Twins to a 9-year, $130 million contract. What a big day for Minnesota, St. Paul, and the whole Twins organization. That is huge because I believe he has the ability to be a superstar. He already is a star, but he is going to be phenomenal for us, in my opinion. Kalen Culpepper, I think he's going to be really good. As far as superstar, I'm not sure yet, but when you can get a really good third baseman for $10 million a year for 7 years, that's pretty good. Okay, so we can't get back into free agency quite yet. Oh, yes. Hey, there we go. Check this out. The San Francisco Giants re-signed starting pitcher Lenny Conrath to a 1-year, $780K contract. Some of you may say, well, who in the world cares? Well, Lenny Conrath, without going into the long story of it, was the generational pitcher for the Giants that we made a a whole episode about and faced him and absolutely destroyed him. I think he may have only gotten one out before being taken out. But I don't think the Giants sent him to Double-A or Triple-A. They just called him right up. So the question to you guys was, should the Giants have called him up right away, or should they have sent him to the minors for, a little growth? And obviously he's so young that he's still on these very low dollar contracts. So I'd be interested to know like how much he improved this year. So we'll have to check that out sometime. Oh, that's so nice. Oh, I guess it's just we heard through the grapevine. Well, wow, he only wants 16.8 million per year. That's crazy. But we already have a catcher, so as much as I would love to have William Contreras, there's no way to play two catchers at once unless you put one at DH, and we're good. But that is a super low amount that he's asking for. Wow, so John Means really wants to sign with us. That is good news. So let's get in there, offer him a contract. I don't want to mess around and get cute and just, up it this amount. I would rather come in with a strong offer. And if he wants to deny or decline that, then we did everything we could do. And we'll go a different direction. In fact, I'll go that amount. So Luis Ariz did not like our original offer. I don't know what to do exactly because there's no way I'm giving him 5 years. I'm just not going to do it. But okay, so it basically is only going to allow me to offer him the exact same contract that he didn't want the first time. So I'm going to offer it to him. And okay, I'm going to go 4 years. Wait, okay. So it does increase his motivation to sign. That's the best offer. Little surprised, no free agents have signed yet, but takes time usually. Contract decision, Luis Ariz. Welcome back double trouble. They always have something corny to say, but that's okay. I'm coming to Minnesota. You mean you're coming back? So that is kind of a huge relief because we really had no options. I don't want to say we didn't really have any options. We had no options. So he's it. He's our first baseman. And the dude hits like 320 to 350. So uh, there could be a lot worse signings than Luis Ariz. So welcome back to the Twin Cities. Contract decision, John Means. I do love the lake life. Hello, Minnesota. So we get John Means at 18.5 million per year, but for only 2 years. So that's great because if he doesn't quite work out, we're not stuck on a long-term deal or anything like that. And we do have 2 guys that are in long relief right now, and their stamina is increasing, but and I believe they could take his place if needed, if he struggled. But honestly, in all the franchises I've done or dynasties, John Means has always done well. So I would be shocked if he didn't do well for us this year. He pitches a lot better than a 77 overall. It's actually an injustice to John Means for the game to only have him as a 77 overall. So Minnesota Twins fans and fans of this series, get excited. Meet your 5th starter. That's awesome. So Bo Bichette has decided to decline the qualifying offer and remain a free agent. You may continue to negotiate a contract with this player, but they may also be signed by another team. Oh, they might? That's so sad. I hope so. He is definitely going to be signed by another team. So that gives us a compensatory pick, which will most likely be between the first and second rounds. Now, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but generally that's for a player of his caliber, that's where it's gonna be. So that should give us an opportunity to replenish the farm system. So thank you, Bo. Thank you for your 2 years of service, for helping us win a World Series championship, and for getting us a compensatory pick. So here's the first big domino to fall. Adley Rutschman re-signs with the Baltimore Orioles at $17 million per year. Maybe it's just me, but it seems like with him and Contreras, they've wanted much less than I thought that I had seen them get. But maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong. But it is a little. I mean, it seems very cheap to re-sign them. So Bo Bichette already signs with the Pittsburgh Pirates. 6-year contract at 30 years old at 26.4 million per year. Okay, we're the Minnesota Twins, not the Yankees, the Red Sox, or the Dodgers, or anyone like that. So we don't have unending flows of cash, or else we would have strongly considered bringing you back. But let me just tell you guys, too, for those of you that watched the beginning of this series, when we signed Bo Bichette, he was at an 82, I believe. But one of the reasons why I went after him strongly was because he still had a potential. And I was a little shocked by that because I kind of thought in the game's mind that since he kind of had a bad year last year, that he was on his way down and that his potential would go down to like a B at least, you know. But no, it was still an A. He's still A potential, or was an A potential last year. And in 3 years, or I guess 2 full years, we got him from an 82 to a 92. So you're welcome, Pittsburgh, and congratulations. Wow. Pittsburgh usually is not a big spender, as you guys know. So that is a lot of money. Huh. I Guys, I honestly don't think we have any money to go after any free agents at this point, so I don't think there's any reason to stop. So the Giants signed Felix Bautista to a 1-year, $11.7 million deal. Now he's only an 87 overall, didn't have a good ERA last year, but the guy is pretty nasty. Well, look at that, 61 innings, 84 strikeouts. So the dude can just be filthy. So that's a good pickup for the Giants. 40-man rosters must be set by tomorrow. Okay, we already set our oh. Oh my gosh, look at all these other signings. Isaac Paredes signed with the Reds. 7-year contract, $110 million. Alex Bregman goes back to the Astros. Wow. For a 1-year contract at a little over $20 million. I didn't really look for our two free agent signings. Let's see. Okay, so they're not included. They must not be included. Uh, Well, there's a rise. Okay, so a rise is on the 40-man roster. Oh, starting pitcher. Oh, okay. So John Means is on there, and he is on the 40-man roster. Okay. All right. So we're set. No. Our very own Pablo Lopez signs a 4-year, $160 million contract with the Red Sox. Now, is anyone surprised that the Red Sox were one of the teams interested in paying Pablo Lopez $40 million? Oh my goodness. 40 million. If we would have signed him for 40 million, we would have been paying 3 pitchers $100 million a year. Just 3 pitchers, $100 million per year, with Joe Ryan and Bailey Ober. And not over 100 million, just a little under 100 million. But congratulations, Pablo. You helped us win a World Series, and now you're reaping the rewards by, well, I have no idea what someone does with $40 million or $160 million, much less $40 million. But I guess your family's secure now, so good for you. Wow. William Contreras goes from the Brewers and stays, or kind of goes to a competitor or a rival in the Cubs, signs with the Cubs to a 6-year, $102 million deal. And again, he signs for 17 million. And he's an 89, and Rushman was a 90. But they're two of the best catchers in the game. Any of you guys that have looked at rosters, there's no catchers that are 95. There's no catchers that are 99s. There's no catchers that are 93s. I mean, Adley Rushman and William Contreras are the cream of the crop for the most part. So I'm just a little shocked that teams don't have to pay more than 17 million per year